Welcome to Gamersledge Podcast, the weekly podcast about video games with news, reviews, analysis, and opinion. Keeping you up to date on how to wisely spend your money for video games, movies, RPGs, comics, books, and more for over 16 years. Find us online at gamersledge.com. And now, your hosts.
Hello and welcome to Gamersledge. Come on in, sit down, relax, have yourself a peanut butter rum smoothie. My name is Mark. I'm one of your hosts. It's a conversation about the video gaming industry, a look at what it means to be a hardcore gamer, and a conversation amongst friends. Joining us this week, starting in the far top left in the dark Brady Square, it's Kate.
And I'm half asleep.
You know, you look like somebody who's in one of those witness protection programs.
Yeah, you should be talking like this, like, I'm really sleeping.
Kate's not your real name? Nice.
I haven't seen that in so long. Wow, memories.
Next to Kate in the middle top Brady Square, we have Turo.
Oh, okay, so I'm up there. So who's over here?
It's different for everybody's screen.
Just go, dude.
But I'm in the center?
You're in
the
top
center,
though. Yes. And
not on my screen, you're not.
Yes!
In the top
anyway,
right, all the way from the Great White North that is not Canada, but is the lonely, barren wastes of Wisconsin, it's Matt.
Howdy.
And in the bottom left, looking like something horrific out of the Matrix on my screen for some reason, it's Dave.
He looks like he's in the witness protection program.
Yeah, you're completely...
Well, what happened?
You're totally blurred
You're all
out. I don't know.
pixelated.
Oh my god, his face!
You look like you're...
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you look like you're doing
that
horror movie thing where you're shaking your head so fast that, yeah.
Oh, the Jacob's ladder thing.
Yeah.
Like a don't hug me, I'm scared. Oh, okay. I was doing
that's
that,
awesome.
but, yeah.
No, he looks like his face is being pixelated out.
So we have...
Good reason for that.
Yeah. He's also in
There's
Witness
really good reason for that.
It's like Kate is like the 70s version of Witness Protection, and then Dave's the late 80s version.
No,
this
is the beautiful protection.
Yeah, we have a ton of stuff. Dave, try changing your thing up to high res or whatever. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but when I do that, it says...
Yeah, just do it anyways. Just do it anyways. And then, so let's talk about what we've got. We have a ton of news today. We've got reader mail to go through. But let's start, as we always do, what is everybody playing? Kate, how about you?
I haven't been playing much. I've been working too much. I played DOAX 3, of course. Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions. Some Overwatch. And I started volunteering for a new D&D group that meets to help with people with mental illness.
Nice.
Nice. Very cool.
As long as they don't cast a real fireball at you.
Because, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's what happens when you have mental illness, Mark.
So, is that a weekly, monthly? What kind of...
Yeah, it's a weekly thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you say Final Fantasy Record Keeper or no?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of it. Not like a ton, but I've been, logging in every day to get the mithril and that stuff.
Cool. We'll skip over the unknown person in the top center square. Matt, how about you?
Basically, I think all I've played in the last week is Adventure Capitalist, to be honest.
I love that you're not even playing the actual clicker game, you're playing the PS4 version of it.
I played the PS4 version and just buying the managers right away so I don't have to do anything. I just log in a couple times an evening and redistribute my money, and yeah. I have been playing, I did play over the weekend some No Man's Sky. But I haven't been able to get back to it this week yet. So tried to play the free city builder game, which his name is escaping me at the moment. But I got hit with the you don't get your first city for free bug. So it's too much effort for me to put in a ticket to get it fixed. So I won't be playing the game.
It looked like PS2 graphics. It looked like PS2 graphics anyways. Kind of. Yeah,
it looked pretty bad. It did not look good. Once I got into it, just did a little bit of it. Not good at all. Other than that, I did watch my oldest play some more of the Digimon Cyber Sleuth. That is actually the thing that Nintendo has refused to do with Pokemon, but it's a actual Digimon game on a full-size console. So it's not some kind of side thing or goofy off thing. It's an actual Digimon game with pretty much every Digimon ever. So my son's currently running the Season 3 team, so that's pretty cool because that was my favorite season of Digimon. Yeah, otherwise I haven't really War of Gems or Gems of War or whatever that
Gems of War
puzzle quest thing is. No, not that. So that's I play that, and otherwise we caught up finally on The Flash, so we're finally done with season 2. Been catching up on Legends of Tomorrow.
Also nice.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about Flash sometime because there's some things about it that bothered me and other things that I really enjoyed. But I forgot. There's something else, but I can't remember what it is now. Of course, I didn't write any of this down. So, and Pokemon Go still pretty much every night. Walking the dogs, catching Pokemon.
Nice. We'll have news about that a little later.
Yeah.
Horrific Nightmare Fuel Dave.
Is it still there?
Oh, it's horrific. Like, you'll clear up and you'll have moments of clarity, which is kind of like your actual life, and then it will just completely go to
and then you move.
Yeah.
If you just did that for a setup to that joke, I have much respect. Because that would just be awesome.
He looks like, that meme of Final Fantasy VIII where it has Renoa saying you're the best looking guy here, and then it shows Squall's really super weird pixelated face.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah, like I said, it's not witness protection, it's the viewer protection. So they... Never mind.
Yeah. I wonder if your connection's bad. After you tell us what you do, you should drop in.
Right now his mouth is between his eyes.
I know, it's really weird. You should, after you're done...
Nice.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you drop and we'll let Turo go now that he's actually back. I'll recognize him. And then I'll just add him back.
Yay! Well, you were doing 80s, 90s, and I was doing today. See?
Yeah.
Witness protection.
Oh, jeez.
That's not even today. That's old.
Yeah, well, people still do it.
Dave,
Still.
go change your name.
Now it's a different face.
I've got it blocked with the add to call thing. Your name is all wrong again.
It says Dave.
No, it doesn't.
It says Dave.
Okay.
It says Dave.
I understand. It doesn't. I understand what you guys are seeing, but it did not. That's why I was saying something. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Turo. What were you playing?
Oh, all right. I played Titanfall 2. That was awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that. It was the tech multiplayer test, and I had a lot of fun. I liked all the things that they did change, and I thought it was funny that in the preview of the whole intro, welcome to the multiplayer stress test or whatever, at the very end, when it's describing the game on how you're going to have new Titans and you're going to have new players and new weapons and all sorts of stuff like that, it goes, and there will be a single-player campaign. Oh, that just made me giggle. Because they made a note saying that that's actually going to be included. So that part made me laugh. And then I played Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, that kind of thing. Pokemon Go like crazy, still. And I started Arkham Knight over again because I'm going to try to beat it beforehand, but I think that's going to be impossible with all the packing. So there's that. And then TV shows. I rewatched Stranger Things with my brother. He is on the last episode, which I don't know how he stopped watching it after episode 7. He's like, I gotta go to bed. I was like, no, you don't. We have one more episode. You're fine. And then started watching The Strain last night, which I've been wanting to watch for a long time. And as soon as I started, I went into 7 episodes deep before I had to go to bed. So that's that, and slowly packing and selling. Yep.
How about Mr. This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things?
What? Dude, that's been fixed for like an hour.
I'm telling you, for some reason, once you left the call and came back, it's back to the other one.
I seriously didn't do anything. I swear to God.
I know you didn't. It's fine. But you're super choppy, but let's try it anyways.
That's just weird. Should I do a restart?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you want to...
Might just be the program.
It could be. Don't know.
Let me try restarting.
All right, and I'll talk about what I've done for last week. Let's see. First off, I have been playing Neverwinter, mostly just logging in every day to get the daily rewards. I actually, Kate, forgot to log in for over a week to Final Fantasy Record Keeper, which is probably a bad sign for the longevity of the game for me, because I think I was getting bored anyways.
Longevity of the game. It's a mobile game you've been playing for like 2 years.
I know,
think
but I'm saying
plenty of longevity.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think I'm getting bored of. I don't know. I've been logging in here and there, but not daily like I should.
Yeah.
I have also been playing. I'm looking at my notes. Oh, Batman Unmasked. Did play a little bit more of that, and that is pretty good. That's the Telltale Batman game. I have been playing a buttload of Storm Coast Legends, and I actually went ahead and bought it for the PC as well, because there is you can create like entire campaign scenarios on the PC version, but not to the point that it was actually cool enough to tell a story with, sadly, because they're the same price. It's $20 on the PSN, it's $20 on the PC. But they had made it sound like you could do all this scripting and stuff, and so I was really excited about it, but not so much. But we'll talk about CRPGs a little bit more in a bit. And I have been playing a little bit of Overwatch. I have not touched No Man's Sky for over a week now, and I'm not missing it until they patch the hell out of it and give us a lot of the features that they promised they were going to. It's not that I got upset.
Okay, so I keep hearing that. What? And again, I know I don't play nearly as hard as you and a lot of people do, so It's probably my perspective is different. But we covered that last week a little bit. But what I keep hearing people, until they patch it and put in all the features they promised, I'm not going to play the game. But nobody ever says what is their list of minimal features that have to be added in.
That's something that we discussed last week. There was an entire Reddit thread that showed all the things that they promised versus what they delivered.
Right, but okay.
For me,
yes, but I assume everybody's list is...
Physics is a big one. Number 2, differentiation on the planets would be nice. Number 3, having the factions do something and be able to engage in actual war, actual big skirmishes, some kind of ship differentiation, because right now the only thing that's different is the size of the ship, and that's it.
Right.
Or the size of the number of slots that you have. There's absolutely no other differentiation whatsoever.
Right. That wasn't a promised item, though.
Yeah, it was. They said that each ship would have different capabilities and features That was the whole reason why you were going to want to barter for ships in the first place, was because you could get different functionality out of one ship versus another.
Well, okay. Now, I could argue that they delivered that, but you won't accept it, so I'm not going to. But one could argue that based on the number of slots, you have different capabilities with different ships, depending on how many slots you're willing to sacrifice.
That's not really capabilities. That's just different sizes of storage slots. I don't want to make it sound like I hate the game. I don't hate the game, but I've also played enough of the game to know that the gameplay loop that is there is not going to sustain me to the center of the universe. Now, granted, I don't know how far I am from the center of the universe because I didn't check because I didn't know you could. I may boot it up just to check that once I figure out how, as we were discussing.
5 light years.
Yeah, because if I'm like within, you know, a reasonable amount of time, I might just do it anyways. Although I'm still fairly convinced that my theory about the end of the game is correct. And if that's the case, then I would get super pissed. And so I kind of don't want to do it. So we'll see. But I did not play much of that. But what I did end up doing was shotgunning the first 2 seasons of Orphan Black, which is a BBC show that's very good. And played a lot of Stormcoast Legends. I now have like a level 14.
It's actually a Canadian show.
Is it? Well, it was broadcast on BBC, or it had the BBC.
Yeah, but it's Canadian.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they had people in Canada that could speak English. English proper. The actors are very good with their English accents. That's where I'm going with that.
Good save?
No, that's what I meant. It just came out wrong. But yeah, I'm really liking it right now. My wife absolutely loves it. It's definitely it's got some good writing that I was not expecting, some of the twists that they've done, so that's good.
So you'd say it's the second best Canadian show of all time?
Behind Kids in the Hall? Absolutely. Kids in the Hall.
Forgot about Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall is the greatest Canadian show of all time. I'm sorry.
All right, so it's the third best then.
No.
Damn, might be fourth. Degrassi was pretty good, so I'm thinking corner gas, guys.
So yeah, that's mine.
Awesome.
Dave, how about you? What have you been playing this week?
Played a little No Man's Sky. I actually found some of my old portables, and I was playing stuff on that. Kind of rocking the old school Tetris on a Game Boy Color for a while, because I had to. I also found my very first handheld that I had when I was a kid, one of those old LCD games, and was also playing some of the original Nintendo Game & Watch game called Ball. A few years ago, they re-released a perfect replica of their original Game & Watch as a freebie for those Nintendo points. Does anybody remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
They used to have really good prizes. And then that all went away. And the one year, the Platinum Prize was the actual replica of the Game & Watch, their original Game & Watch, which was awesome. So that's been really exciting. And the rest has been cleaning out all the storage in my basement. That was a fun game.
Did you level up?
I did.
Awesome.
Cleaned out so much space. Very happy.
Well, that's going to bring us then to news, and we have a ton of news this week. Of course, a small game called Deus Ex. I've actually just suddenly forgot the subtitle of this one. It's like something... Humanity Divided.
Yeah.
Mankind Divided?
Mankind Divided? Yeah, one of them.
That could be two.
Yeah, Deus Ex the Second. Let's just call it that.
Deus Ex Mankind.
Isn't it like the third or fourth, actually?
Well, technically, yes. There are some suspect things that the community is crying foul on that I'm not sure what to think about it. We've all heard the premise of the evils of DLC. There are a ton of XP DLC that you can buy to basically level your character up and get ahead in the game. What do we think about that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I know that from my perspective of 15 years ago, I would have said, dude, that sucks. That's horrible. You should never do that. Now, as someone who doesn't have a whole lot of time for gaming, I actually am not so upset with the idea of paying $5 and being able to advance a few levels. But the only thing that I would posit to this conversation besides those two things is I wish I would know what the developers had in mind. If you're supposed to be playing it with accelerated XP growth, okay, then I would probably want to spend the extra DLC. If the developers made it with the idea that you don't do this stuff, but you can, then I would probably want to play it according to its original design. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I got two things on this. First of all, I'm totally fine with it now because it's a complete representation of what real life is. Real life is for the rich, not for the poor. So if you can't pay, you can't play. Bam. That's what it is. They're just giving people a dose of reality, and I'm fine with that. Secondly, as far as your comment about how the game's designed, they just want to get their money as fast as possible before people get bored, which will be in a week. So if everybody wants to pay extra to burn out on the game sooner, they're fine with that. They're totally fine with that. And that's the design. It's not there to, lengthen the game in any way, shape, or form. They're going to try and sell season passes so people can log in later. But overall, it's just to get the money up front and get it as quick as possible.
Kate, do you have a dog in this race?
Do whatever the hell you want. If you want to pay to level up, who cares? And if you want to just level up on your own, do it. Just don't bitch about someone else's choice.
So Turo, if Kate pays to level up faster, is she a poser or is she a real gamer?
She's just Canadian.
Wow. I think she's staring
All
death
right.
lasers at you, Dave. It's breaking up your signal.
I can't tell. Oh, that's hilarious. It's like this whole new DLC that's been coming out lately, where you pay to actually get more, or you pay
To actually play the
advance in
game?
No, to get more. Like in Pokemon Go, to play it, you can go to Pokestops, get Pokeballs, or you can spend real money and buy Pokeballs and then get all the Pokemon, all of them that you possibly can, so you can get as much Stardust. So you're technically buying Stardust if you're going to do it that way. All right, and then now you can turn it around on like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, those freemium games. You're still playing the game, but you're not raiding as hardcore as other people are. I raided nonstop for a good 3 hours last night, and I still have not spent any money on Clash of Clans. Whew. But now, if someone spends $50 on it, will I frown upon them? No. If that's how they want to play, awesome. But as far as jumping ahead in levels, is that how it's going to be? How is it going to be portrayed, really?
Yeah, for this, it's straight up XP.
Wow. See, that's
Awesome.
in Clash Royale, it's you're buying cards, and you don't know which cards you're buying. That's how it kind of comes down to be. If you want to spend $100 on that game, and you want a certain card, then you have a chance to get it, but you're not buying that card over and over again, or that character. If you're just buying straight up XP, that makes me sad. Because the grind's not there. The fun part.
Yeah, so you're paying $60 for the game.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
And then you can pay additional money to beef yourself up. You can buy more in-game credits, which you use at the game shops to buy more weapons, ammos, and items, or you buy Praxis kits, which you spend on the hero's cyborg ability upgrades. Each time you level up...
Did he say ammos?
No?
Sorry.
Weapons, ammo, and items? Maybe I did. I don't know. Or you can buy the cyborg ability upgrades. Every time you level up, you get one Praxis kit, and most upgrades require spending 1 to 2 kits. So.
Okay. So you're buying those instead of getting one for each time you level up.
And they're saying, the article says, you generally would not spend real world money on the credits because they're plentiful in the game. But the Praxis kits, on the other hand, are spread out perfectly in the campaign, according to the author. And then, so the point is, you can do it faster, and they're one-time use DLC.
Okay, I saw this meme on Facebook where it was... Oh, go ahead.
It's the way, gaming is now. And I've just, decided to stop railing against it because it's not going to change. So why should I get pissed off about something that I can't change? Because it's the same thing where it's back in the day where it's games are only meant to be in arcades. What the hell is console shit? So it's like that now.
Stuff.
It's just a new phase of gaming.
Come on, I don't know. Did anybody really say that?
Some people did say that.
I don't know. I remember people going, "Oh my God, I'm playing Donkey Kong in my living room," and it sucks, but I'm still playing it.
No, there was still an elitism about, I go to an arcade.
Well, there was, but
well,
then...
some people were addicted to secondhand smoke.
Matt, you've been... What is that?
We're getting something from beyond. Hold on.
Soul has entered.
I think it's the Speed Force. They're warning us.
This is awful.
Flash is warning us about something. We did something wrong.
Matt, you've been conspicuously quiet this entire conversation.
I've been intentionally quiet. You know me, I'm going to be screaming at those kids to get off my lawn till the day I die, so I'm not even going to touch that. To me, the issue is more, if you wanted to make the game so you essentially could have a story mode by making the game easier, then do what Fallout 4 did, put in, oh my God, you need to shoot me 1,000 times at level 1 before I die mode, and there you go. If I keep using Fallout 4 as my standard for the amount of content delivered for a $60 game and the variety of gameplay that you get and the different ways that one can choose to play the game for $60, there's never any excuse for any of this stuff.
That's got a good point. The Fallout developers are stupid.
Yeah, well, they kind of are. I mean, they could be making way more money than they are. Because, as Kate said, this is the culture now. People will just pay to get something, even if they don't need it, just because they can.
It's an instant gratification thing. It's part not just with video games. It's with everything. Kids and digital stuff is instant gratification. So if you can just buy that extra stuff instead of grinding for it.
Yeah, and to Mark's point, if the game is designed to be played with the expenditure of additional money, then play your game. If it's designed to be played, as he said, the designer said that the things are spaced out perfectly for the way his vision of how the game would progress would go, okay, then fine, then it's completely optional. Your disposable income, as long as you're not knocking over liquor stores to buy it, I guess you can do whatever you want, but again, to me, it comes down to why are you playing games then? If you're trying to bypass the experience as being portrayed to you by the development team and the director and all that, then why don't you just go watch a video? I don't know. Maybe that's the part to me I don't understand is if you're going to just cheat your way through the game or pay your way through the game, then why are you playing it?
Well, I think it's all very interesting and an interesting conversation to be had. What do you think about paying to get ahead in games? Let us know in the comment box below.
We're over there.
Whichever direction it is. So I don't want to spend a ton of time getting into this, but there is a really interesting article on Riot Games League of Legends. There is a team owner for an esports team owner that has been in a verbal back and forth with one of the co-developers or the co-publisher, co-creators of Riot Games about their patching of the game to actually make it so that players can't earn a living. And it's, at first, everybody was like, oh, but it's actually turned into a really good conversation. So we've got a link for that on our Twitter feed, which you can see right here to my right if you're watching the stream. But check that one out. It's very interesting, but I don't want to spend a lot of time with the panel on it because it's pretty boring stuff. Let's talk about probably the most important...
League of what?
Yeah, let's talk about the most important news of the week. Adult Swim has announced that they are actually publishing Toe Jam and Earl's Back in the Groove. I was so worried about this game when it initially...
I got that email earlier today. I was so happy.
And the teaser trailer they have put up makes me happy, and I am super excited for that, although it doesn't look like it's coming till 2017 now. But that's fine. I can wait for a quality Toe
That's
Jam.
because they had to start over.
Yeah, probably.
They had to start
probably had
over.
to start over, but that's okay.
No. They're actually that move was done to add in all the console support.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
So that's why they're holding off, so they get all the consoles out at the same time.
Console support equals starting over.
So we have a few news items that are kind of all bundled together. It turns out, apparently, that there's a new PlayStation model called PlayStation Slim that was leaked in Europe by somebody going onto a eBay-like site and buying it and then having it delivered to their home. Eurogamer was like, let's be the first to scoop this. And they went to the guy's home and they videoed it booting up and then posted it to the internet, which was a dumb thing to do because then they immediately pulled it down and said, our lawyer said we should not have done that. Duh, since it's, yeah, not to mention talk about burning bridges at Sony.
Actually, I have a question about that. Why, if somebody bought it off eBay and said, hey, I purchased this off eBay, like, I'm not really for the legality on that one, saying that they have to pull that down because they didn't break any embargo or anything. They filmed something over somebody's house that they made an allegedly legal transaction, so wouldn't the issue be more eBay and the person who sold it would be the issue?
You're right.
The fact that it's out in the wild and they filmed it, I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah, but you are burning your bridges with the company, which is a dumb idea. On top of that, I don't know how it works for hardware. I know software, you're 100% correct. Like if it's that's why they even broke the retail street date on No Man's Sky, is because they could, and then the embargo no longer applied for software. I don't know how that works for hardware if that's a different, measuring scope or something along those lines. It might not be, but again, to me, if you're I don't know. I agree. On the one hand, there's journalism, right? You're getting the scoop and doing something. On the other hand, it's not journalism in a vacuum, where you have to have relationships with these companies, and maybe it's different than
I bring up the fact just because of how it's never going to be journalism because of things like this.
Right.
Like, there's never going to be journalism until, like, after the fact, where, like, if a company crumbles, then they'll do the investigative journalism to see, like, oh, well, this person did this was a scandal, blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to see stuff like that really happening all that much during, because they need to suck up to companies all the time. And I'm just really against that sort of thing, because you're never going to get actual journalism because of that.
The interesting thing
There's illegal activity, and then there's a console.
Right, yeah. The interesting thing is that the thing looks horrific. I would not buy one. It looks horrible. But The other thing that happened is that suddenly a listing for a USB adapter for a DualShock appeared also on an online site. And then the PlayStation blog accidentally leaked via metadata in a story they posted that they were about to announce that PlayStation Now is going to be available on PC. And now, as of today, because it already leaked, they said, hey, congratulations, in Europe today, starting today, you can now have PlayStation Now on the PC, and there is a new updated DualShock that you can use with this USB adapter wirelessly so that you can play PlayStation on your PC. So my question...
And the really cool thing is because Sony leaked that, Sony no longer talks to Sony, and they're not going to get any exclusive news anymore.
Well, no, what's dumb...
We have plenty of evidence that Sony doesn't talk to Sony.
Yeah, we have plenty of evidence in that fact.
Exactly, business as usual.
The thing that kills me is, what the hell are we going to have at this September 7th meeting? Everything's out of the bag. We know they're announcing the Neo. We know that they're announcing the Slim. We know they're announcing PS Now on PC. They have nothing left. I would be flabbergasted if there was something new beyond this. All I really want to tune in to see is how the hell they are going to explain the justification for buying a PlayStation Neo. That's all I want to see, because I still can't find one after all this time.
Well,
because of great connectivity with the new PSP they're going to announce.
I had to say something there.
The funny thing is I was over on Omega Level yesterday, and everyone over there is already planning on getting one. It's like they don't know what it is. They don't care. They're just going to get one.
If it did 4K, then I could see the justification, but it doesn't. It's upsampling. It's not real 4K. So why are you even doing it? The PlayStation we have now does that.
Well, not for games, though.
Well, not for games, but, how many 4K games have we seen launch? Oh, that's right. 0. Big fat goose egg. None. I mean, there's not even hardly any 4K.
That's why
because you need a PlayStation Neo for that.
It's the same thing with the whole Xbox thing. I don't get why they are coming out with 4K, not 4K, when there's no 4K stuff. It's just...
There's no 4K stuff because we don't have the system that can do it. Now we'll
we don't
have the system that can do it.
We cannot rebuild them.
What?
Exactly.
Right. Wait,
you get it now.
So you're telling me that they're actually going to make 4K games on the PS4? I don't think so. They're going to upsample them. They're going to upsample them with the Neo to faux 4K, but it's still not going to be native 4K output. So who freaking cares?
Whoa. Are you saying they're just trying to release a new system just to squeeze extra money out of people and not
like
actually
Microsoft.
deliver 4K?
No.
Just like Microsoft.
That doesn't sound like anything.
You're saying stuff like that is going to make Sony not ever let you get access to information again.
Probably true. Not that they've ever given me access to information to begin with, so there you go.
Well, now you know why. Because you're a hater. And Sony hates haters.
It's a Sony hater, Mark. Wow.
So, No Man's Sky has.
I'll try and save face real quick. Sony, that original PS Vita, the screen is the best screen I've ever seen on anything.
The OLED one, I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh God.
I mean, still have.
Granted, I was playing a lot of Game Boy Color lately and stuff. So making the jump to that back to the PS Vita was like, whoa.
I remember playing Pokemon on the DS and then switching over to my Vita just to play it. I'm like, whoa.
Or if you're like me now,
it made a tear.
If you're like me now, you're just playing Pokemon on your PS Vita. I'm just saying. So there's that.
Why would you do that?
Because it looks really good.
Because you can.
It looks really good on the OLED screen.
It's
a little distorted, but it looks good.
That's just...
Oh my gosh.
So No Man's Sky has now released 5 patches in the span of a week and a half. But the only thing I want to say about that, they said that they have now gotten 90% of all crashes on the PS4 have been fixed. but they still won't release the full patch notes. That's really annoying. They need to do it when they release the patches as opposed to, like, get 6 of them under their belt and then give us a, yeah. We'll come back to that one. Doom is discounted to $20 at GameStop right now. That's a really good buy. Yeah.
For $20, yes.
Yeah. So I'm actually thinking about running and going and getting that myself because that's really good. Matt, did you know that there's a Call of Duty endowment?
Actually, yeah, I did.
And did you know that it's helped 25,000 veterans secure jobs?
I don't know. It was something of that magnitude, yeah.
So
unfortunately, that didn't exist when I was a veteran trying to get a job.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting and actually one of the very positive things that's come out of the Call of Duty franchise. 21 million in grants to help place veterans at 1/5 the cost of federal programs. So that's kind of interesting, is that Activision is now actually doing better than the government at placing people in jobs. Or I should.
That's actually, I don't know if that's surprising or just sad.
Well, no. Let me make it more disturbing. Bobby Kotick is actually placing veterans in jobs more efficiently and faster than the United States government. So I'm just saying. But I thought that was an interesting thing to come out of it, and I think it's a cool thing that Activision's doing. So good job, Activision.
Yeah, it is. It's
I know.
Really cool
I
thing.
don't say those words very often, but great job, Activision. That's awesome. Now that Dave is back, we can talk about probably the game I am most excited for in October, which will be finally has a date of October 10th that it is releasing. 100-foot robot golf. Today was announced.
I just saw that today.
Not only was it announced with the release date of October 10th, but they also announced, get ready for this, a puppy Voltron kaiju. 5 puppies that drive puppy mechs that form a giant puppy mech Voltron. If you want to go the Transformers route, it's a puppy Gestalt.
Yeah, I think I can support this game.
I totally can support this game. I think this is like...
And it's actually funny because I was just thinking about how I haven't played a good golf game since the Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance.
Well, this is not a good golf game. This is a golf game in which you use 100-foot robots to try and destroy a city during a game of golf.
Wait, what?
It is... You use giant robots that are using a city as their golf course, and the goal is to do as much damage as possible during the course of your golf game.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I do to regular golf courses when I play.
Right, but it's not a good golf game like Mario Golf, as you were saying earlier, or Hot Shots Golf.
Yeah, but I consider that a good golf game. Which is sad.
Well, the interesting thing for me is I don't
want to play a realistic golf game, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I am not picking up the normal version of this. I will be picking up the PSVR version of this just because I can. And that should be awesome. That should be awesome. What else? Titanfall 2 says that crossplay is unlikely but not ruled out. They say that it won't be in there at launch, but they aren't closed to the possibility. But considering nobody can get it done, I'm really beginning to think that Sony not wanting to allow it. I still don't understand how it hurts them, but sure. Yeah, I know it's not
just trashing Sony left and right every chance you get.
I'm just pointing out that there are
Microsoft fanboy.
Yeah, right. Overwatch has a new character, it looks like. They've been doing an ARG hunt in their forums. That's been pretty interesting. And I think that's a really cool way to engage their community leading up to the launch of a new character. Overclocked Remix has released a Chrono Trigger Jazz remake, which is really, really good. And considering that's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, just FYI, something you might want to check out. It is free, so you can check that out at Overclocked Remix. Kate, you have Dead or Alive 5 last round King Kamehameha version, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the new Mai trailer that shows off her moves and combos?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
That looks pretty fun. I mean, I haven't played the game in, like, months. So, I mean, I don't know if I'll pick her up, but she looked fun.
Yeah, I thought it looked very good. King of Fighters also came out this week to overwhelmingly positive reviews. I am very excited about picking that one up eventually.
I just wish the graphics weren't ass.
You know what? I could care less. As long as it runs well and plays good, that's... My wife would agree with you 1,000%. But I could care less.
Graphics have never really been a King of Fighters thing, though. I mean,
but they've been
even in the sprite
hand-drawn.
days, their sprites weren't.
Yeah, but they were still cool. I don't know. Lumens is coming to mobile next week.
What did you call it?
Lumens.
Oh,
Luminous.
I love
don't
you,
do
Dave.
that.
I love you, Dave.
No, don't do that.
I was
Don't
just
do
seeing
that.
if you were even paying attention.
I was waiting for you to like not even mention it because you're such a hater of
I'm not a
anything good this week.
Pokemon Go loses more than 15 million daily users in a month's period of time. So they went from 35 million concurrent users down to 20 million concurrent users.
Only 20 million. How will they survive?
Well, the funny part is I also put up this week some photos and videos of a Taiwanese Pokemon Go Stampede that is like straight out of Zombie Apocalypse
what was
Nightmare
that?
Fuel. It was a Snorlax.
What happened there?
There was a Snorlax that appeared in an area, and the place is already overrun with thousands of people as it is, but apparently then it became tens of thousands of people once people started hearing that there was a Snorlax, and so it was like wall of people just washing everything away as they stampeded towards the Snorlax.
Wow.
It's crazy. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's see. There was a report that surveyed Japanese game developers and how much they make, and it was a very interesting read because compared to the U.S. is probably one of the lowest countries for income, but even compared to that, Japan was probably about 15 to 20% less for game developer positions. So it's pretty interesting that they're not getting compensated even the same structure types of deals as the United States. So that was an interesting read that Kotaku put up. We've got that on our Twitter feed as well. The Witness has been confirmed as coming.
It seemed really depressing. Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
It seemed really depressing, especially considering the amount of hours they probably have to put in during crunch time and stuff. This wages seem really low, unless that was just a base wage and there was like some kind of bonus structure in at the end, which I'm assuming probably not.
No.
And that was a depressing article.
This is one of the huge culture differences between the United States and Japan, whereas people like Miyamoto is a rarity, not a norm. Here, you've got Cliff Bleszinski, you've got David Jaffe, you've got all these developers that are well-known, iconic personalities, whether you like them or hate them. In Japan, being an individual is not the goal. It's for the good of the company, the good of the machine, etc. And so that's kind of folds into this. So I actually was not surprised that they made less. I was surprised by how much less that they make, because it's actually a very small number for most of those positions, even compared to the United States. And here on the United States side, not everybody has those deals where you get profit sharing or anything like that. But even those base numbers are generally higher just because you live in the Bay Area, because most developers are in the Bay Area, as an example. You have to take in living costs and things of that nature. So just from that alone, you're going to end up with a higher base rate than what you see. But Japan has, just as it's just as expensive to live in Japan, yet they're
I was just trying to say, Japan's not cheap to live there.
right, and that's my point. And the numbers are still that much lower is actually pretty concerning. And I understand why a lot of people might be transferring out to something else besides game development. It is rather just a rather depressing story.
It was depressing. Thanks for bringing everything down.
Yeah, no problem. Let's talk about something happy for Xbox One users. The Witness is coming to Xbox One. Jonathan Blow confirmed this in an interview with IGN, and they're aiming for a September 13th release date, which is right around the corner. I forgot to say, that's the other thing I played this week. I played more of The Witness and still put the controller down before I threw it across the room. It's really good, but it's really hard. Hey, Turo.
Hey, yo, what?
So I know that you are a diehard Bleed Green Xbox fan.
Yep.
So what if I told you that Xbox came out with its own line of onesies called the Xbox Onesies?
Yes.
Would you want one?
If it was, well, depending how much they are. If they were gifted to me, yes.
I don't.
Just depends on how much they are.
I don't know.
If they were like, it's $360, and I'm like, no, $100, $50.
It actually does not have a price, but it does have enlarged pockets to fit an Xbox controller and media remotes, an arm pouch for a mobile phone, rollable leg and arm sleeves, and forearm grips to prevent slipping.
I don't know why anybody does not want this.
It looks pretty weird, I gotta say.
I want it. Now I would pay I would pay $50 for that.
Kate, would you want an Xbox onesie?
No.
Did you hear the pockets?
I still don't want one.
Let's finish this informal poll. Matt, would you want an Xbox onesie?
No.
Pockets.
Dave, Xbox onesie?
No.
No, you don't want that image in your head.
I think you'd look like Tinky Winky personally, but that's just me.
Oh.
I was like, yeah. Purple. Right? Yeah, that's the purple one.
Well, if I'm squeezing into that onesie.
Capcom is doing a Humble PlayStation bundle, which to my knowledge is the first time there's actually been a Humble bundle for a real console. So Wii doesn't count.
Because, as we all know, PCs is not a...
yeah, dude. Come on.
Hashtag PC Master Race.
That's right. The thing about it for me is the only thing I was really disconcerted about is that the only things for PS4 were things that have already been on multiple sales, and any newer games were just vouchers for like $15 off them. Everything was mainly for PS3, and let me tell you, if you paid $15 and you didn't have any Capcom games for the PS3, you'd be set for a very long time. But I don't know. What do you guys think about console bundles like this? Do you think this is a good strategy? Do you think we should see more of these? Do you think it's not going to make a difference? What do you think? I mean, as you know, the Humble bundles go for charity anyways, so on that side it's a good thing. But what do you think about bundling consoles like this, or console items like this, where it's across multiple platforms?
It's a great way to move some numbers of products that aren't selling anymore. And that's basically what it is. Nobody was sitting around waiting for Final Fight to be on some kind of Humble Bundle sale. It's just kind of like, it's in there, like it's cool. Oh, there's a bunch of games in here, and it's helping charity. Yeah, this is a great idea. But it's not something anybody that really wanted those games would have already bought them. The idea is sell a bunch of things for cheap, split the profits with charity. It's a great little business model.
So we didn't talk about The Tick, which did debut on Amazon this week earlier. Dave, I know you watched it. Matt, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did.
Yes, I did.
Kate?
No.
Taro, did you watch it?
I did not. I've been all over the place
So
with the strain recently.
just real quick, I don't want to spend too much time on our gaming podcast for it, but Dave, what did you think?
I loved it. I really hope it gets turned into a series. I thought they did a great job with it. And I was a huge fan. I was a very big skeptic going into it because, they couldn't get Patrick Warburton for it, and I just thought he was perfect as a Tick. But Pete did a good job.
Matt?
Funky Pete.
I never did see the original comic, so my original Tick is the animated series. And so that's the Tick voice in my head, is the animated voice. And this guy supplanted it within his first 10 seconds. I mean, that is now the voice of the Tick in my head.
Really? That good?
Yeah.
Darth Maul did awesome.
It's
Wait, not Tom Park. No, Roy Park. No, Ray Park.
No, Ray Park they never let speak.
Right. He can only be chopped in
That was
half.
The guy that actually did the voice of Darth Maul.
Oh, got it.
He was Pete from Shaun of the Dead.
But yeah, no, this it was very, very well done. It was very well done. I was thoroughly impressed. I thought the guy that cast as Arthur was great. I wasn't really expecting much, but they really did nail it.
I will say that...
I don't know that
Go ahead.
I'm not sure I'd want more than a couple seasons. I have this feeling that it's going to wear out quick. But I think I would definitely like to see at least a season or two of it.
I thought they took it a little darker than everything we've ever seen before in the translation of it. I really liked that. And Tick was such a walking contradiction to that you couldn't help but kind of bust into grins now and then. But the standout for me was Jackie Earle Haley. Is that right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. As
I think so.
Yeah, the guy that played Rorschach.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came close in my mind to a Mark Hamill Joker persona kind of thing. In that, I hope they do more with him because that was incredibly interesting to me. Just very animated and over to the top.
Yeah, he did great. As far as the dark tone of it, the original comics were actually kind of dark.
They were, but I think that they even took this farther than that. This seemed to me like...
Yeah, but the Tick starts off escaping from an insane asylum.
Right.
Like, he was in an insane asylum.
Right, but I actually... They were so dark with their setup for Arthur in this that I thought they were actually going to go the route that maybe the Tick was a hallucination of Arthur's, because that's where it looked like it was going for quite a while there, and I thought that would have been kind of interesting.
That's really dark.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. So I definitely recommend it. The 20 minutes or so went by real quick.
Yeah, it was a quick show.
DICE said that they want to focus on fun over realism, so no mustard gas coming out of your controller for Battlefield 1. But they basically said, walking the tightrope between historical accuracy and fun is important to them, and they're going to try and choose fun over realism, which I don't think anybody was planning on something different, but okay. Your team leaders in Pokemon Go now do something. Candela and Blanche tell you what the values of Pokemon in gyms are, and Spark just cries in the corner. Because that's all Yellow Team can do.
No, we don't. We're taking over, bruh. He's just getting scared, bruh.
Let's see. Elite Dangerous. No, we're gonna skip that one. Oh, this is one that I did want to talk about. So, Amazon exclusive, $800
Oh.
4K Lord of the Rings Blu-ray versions that are the revised versions, not even the theatrical releases, and they come on a bookshelf with faux leather for $800. I don't know what they're smoking over there at Amazon for some of these specials. They're crazy. I would not buy that in a heartbeat.
Two people have to buy it, and they're good. So.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Although it's given me a little case of the whiplash, PT-inspired horror game Allison Road is being brought back from the dead. Kate, I know you're very happy about this one.
I am.
What are you looking forward to the most about it?
Just having a new horror game. Like a good horror game. I purposely haven't looked at a lot of stuff from it, so it's not like I'm like really versed in it. I purposely have been staying away from it.
Well, it was interesting because basically what happened is the creator left his own company, started a new company, and then re-announced the game. So I don't know how that works, but okay. The ZeniMax lawsuit against Oculus Rift now directly accuses John Carmack of theft and Palmer Luckey of misrepresentation, saying that Luckey does not have the technical fortitude to create his way out of a paper bag, pretty much. Which they're getting...
Burn.
Oh, yeah, it's getting pretty ugly. And they are specifically referencing an incident in which after John Carmack announced his resignation, he then returned to the ZeniMax offices and downloaded data from their servers to a zip drive, to a thumb drive, and then never returned the thumb drive and used that data to found Oculus. Or not found it, but enhanced it. Yeah, it's getting really specific, which makes me think they have some kind of evidence of that stuff, which means this is going to get real ugly real quick.
That's not good.
No, this is going to get real ugly real quick for the old books of faces. And for all of you watching us on Facebook Live, hello and thank you for watching.
Hi, as we watch Mark burn every bridge in the industry tonight.
Polygon had a really interesting article asking whether or not the Oculus's touch controller could revitalize the Rift, because it is trailing in the behind in sales numbers from the Vive. The real thing for me is that once you add those touch controllers, it's probably going to cost exactly as much as a Vive. So how does that change anything, really? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be an interesting thing to watch. But let's talk about our topic of the week, because Divinity Original Sin 2 is going into Steam Early Access, and it will be in September, which is right around the corner. I want to say September 15th. That is the correct date. So, Dave, you said CRPG with a question mark earlier. That would be a computer role-playing game commonly referred to as things of the gold box era. And if you're not familiar with what the gold box is, it's because you're not old like me. D&D actually released a bunch of tactical computer role-playing games back in the day. You stop your action, you consider what you want to do, and then you press the space bar to make everything go again. These were the very first types of RPGs that appeared on consoles, on computers a long time ago, once graphics actually started. Before that, it was the things like Brutal, where it was the ASCII art, dungeons, etc. But once they started making hand-drawn sprites and characters and things of that nature, the first form of that we got that was pretty ubiquitous were CRPGs, which I played all through college, and I actually played on my Mac. They actually came out on the Mac before the PC, which was kind of interesting. I'm trying to remember the name of the one that I played. It was like wasn't the Dark Crystal, but it was the Crystal of something. And I played that probably a good 2 or 3 years before the gold box stuff started coming out. What does that translate into today? Divinity Original Sin, Stormcloak Legends. What was the other one? There's a couple more on PC that I'm blanking on. But there's a ton of different CRPGs that are obviously filling a niche for people. For me, it gives me the D&D fix since I don't have a D&D group currently. I can do it single player on the computer, but I know, Matt, you've played some of these. What are your opinions on CRPGs? How do you think they're different from RPGs, and why do you see so many of them coming back now?
To hit the last question, I think nostalgia. At the same time where we're having games where you basically pay to just be super strong and breeze through the game, you've also concurrently got this desire for the old style games and something a little harder and something more restrictive. CRPGs, I think Pool of Radiance was my first one
That's
from
a good
the
one to start
gold
with,
box era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're, by today's standard, they're light on story, but at the time they were pretty heavy on story. They're very, very, very graphically simple. And by contrast, Baldur's Gate, the first PC Baldur's Gate was the probably great grandchild. That's kind of the last of the great CRPGs before they kind of disappeared for a while. And that one almost, you could say, spawned the BioWare style of game, right? Because you had all the different conversation trees and you had the different paths and all that stuff. So that's kind of how the evolution went. And anytime, you get the evolution far enough, there's somebody that's interested in going back to the roots, right? Or roots, depending on where you grew up.
That was awesome. Sorry. I just did giggle-worthy.
And and I think that's where this is coming from. There's a desire to go back to see what things were like, but nobody wants to take the dive and actually boot up something that plays DOS 2.0 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not even sure you even if you
launch
did
up the games,
because you could do it under compatibility mode now, but it would run 900 times the speed of what it used to.
Yeah, everything was clocked at the processor speed, so yeah, you'd never be able to control anything.
Oh god, I remember the first time when I had a 486 and you had to turn off the turbo button.
Yep.
In order for older games to run properly.
I had to.
You had to underclock your system.
Yeah, you had to underclock, and then I actually learned how to, using Quick Basic, write a program that wasted clock cycles.
You had to siphon speed. So, you were flashing.
Yeah,
you were doing the flash. You were siphoning the speed. You were the turtle, is what you were.
I was sucking speed out of my system because back then the clock speed was slow enough that everybody just based the timing and things of the game off the clock speed on the processor. Yeah, so try to launch Wing Commander 2, you'd launch a mission and you'd be dead a millisecond later because you couldn't do anything. But yeah, I really think it's mostly the nostalgia thing. People want to go back to that format and see, because most of the things we're talking about now are probably more comparable to a Baldur's Gate or a Baldur's Gate 2, not the console action RPG ones, the PC ones. So it's just everything old is new again. We've got a lot of 16, 8-bit sprite art, voxel stuff now, and that's really kind of a cool thing to go back and do, but with modern conveniences. I think we're just seeing the same thing with this. We're seeing something go back to something that's harder, something that's maybe a bit more tactical, whereas RPGs have gone more and more action. Look at Final Fantasy 15. It's from what we've seen, it's basically an action game. It's way more akin to a Kingdom Hearts than it is to Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, 13 even.
So, Kate, on that point specifically, you are a diehard JRPG fan. How do you feel about franchises like Final Fantasy 15 moving towards action? Do you think that is something they should be doing, or would you like to see it as it's been in the past?
I don't know. I'm not against them trying what they're doing in 15. I'll see what it's like, but I kind of wish that the 7 remake was just kind of like turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think everything has to be action-related, because, I mean, turn-based games are still fun.
Now, with that being said, have you played something like Divinity Original Sin or any of the Gold Box games back in the day or anything like that? So
I never had a computer until
well,
after
but
high
wait,
school,
you
so-
played Dragon Age, did you not?
Yeah,
So Dragon Age Inquisition?
yeah.
So
I
then
played all the Dragon Ages.
So then the question became, how did you play Dragon Age Inquisition? Did you pause it, look at it from the, 3/4 overhead perspective, plan out your moves, and then unpause it to do its thing, or did you just play it as an action game?
I played it as an action game.
See, and that's, I think, in my opinion, that's the best of both worlds, because Dragon Age is a perfect amalgamation of, if you want to play it as an action game, you have the ability to do so. If you want to play it as a CRPG, you can do that as well. In the first 2 titles, you couldn't do that on the console versions, but you could on the PC version, which is why I played Dragon Age 1 on the PC version, because I wanted that ability. Turo, have you played any of these types of games?
Nope. I've seen just those games being not play them myself.
But what
myself.
What do you think of them? Do you think, is that something that interests you, something that does not interest you? And if not, why?
It doesn't. As far as Dragon Age Inquisition, it's just too much. There's too much to do. I'll get distracted easily. I'm a person that's like, I know this might be hard to believe, but I'm like, oh, what's that over there? I'm going to do that. Oh, what's that over there? I'm going to do that. Oh, what's that over there? I'm going to do that. And I'll never accomplish anything. And yeah, I'll get myself lay of the land, and I might have been able to do that whenever I was younger, but now, whenever I'm like, okay, I got 2.5 hours to play, all right, I can do this, this, or this, and then end up 2.5 hours of just doing side quests or just looking at cool things. And then when I go back to the game on open world stuff like that, when I go back to the game.
Hello? Uh-oh, looks like we're having some technical difficulties, folks. Give us just a minute, and we'll get everybody back on the call. Yep, that timed out. Let's see about Ubu contacts. Give me just 1 second. Apologies as we try and pull everybody back up. Looks like our service went down. Hooray for... Hey, Dave. It's still showing.
What happened?
It's still showing. Everybody crashed. It's still showing the wrong name too. I don't know why. Can't get it off the screen either. Yay, this is why we can't have nice things. Nobody else seems to be online.
Sorry, dude.
It's all right. Do you see anybody else online? Because I can't see anybody. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Contacts. And...
The whole thing blow up? Or?
Yeah, it all blew up. and Turo. And what's worse is now Dave's on the bottom, so I can't hide his name. Yay, Dave. All right.
He's finally showing up as Dave for me.
Yeah, he's not showing up as Dave for me.
All right, I'll drop off. Drop me back in then, and that'll probably drop me in the bottom.
Yeah, it'll put you in the top, yeah. I don't know why he's stuck that way. Yep, perfect.
Cool.
So, wait, did I lose Turo now? Yep. I don't see him.
Let's go back to Blob.
There we go. Blab's dead. That's why we're doing this. Hi, welcome back.
Hey, that was scary. I was scarred.
Yeah. So, yeah, you were basically saying, Turo, you get distracted too easily, don't have the time.
Yeah, it's just too much. And whenever I continue something like that, after giving myself, 2.5 hours to do something, and I want to continue doing that, I can't. I have to continue after a whole day's work, or I have stuff to do in my life, and games like that, whenever I was younger, would be perfect because I didn't do anything. It'd be awesome. But I can't give myself, my brain literally can't go, do stuff, pause, come back to it, and at that pause, come back to doing stuff. It's too much. So that's why I can't do games like that. That's why I don't like cricket.
Yeah, and I think for me, you're wholeheartly right. I think it is nostalgia. I enjoyed those games growing up. I think they're tapping into the market that is me, and that's fine. But I find that they're different than open world games, Turo, for me anyways, in that they are much more linear. Yes, they have side quests and stuff, but it's a much more linear story than something like a GTA or a Skyrim or No Man's Sky or anything like that. Usually they're pretty linear quests for the most part, with some additional optional side missions if you care to do them. But you'll be able to play some shortly, so that'll be interesting to see.
I don't know what you mean by that, but okay.
PlayStation is going up. PlayStation Plus is going up $10. So renew yours now. Find some deals now. That'll bring it into parity with Microsoft and Xbox Live Gold. So,
just to hit that for a second, do you think there's going to be any change in any of the programs with that price change, or do you think they're just charging us more?
They're just charging us more because now there's more users on the system. Nope, I don't think there will be a darn thing that will be new. Dave's favorite. Maybe we actually talked about this last month. We talked about the NX stuff last month. So that brings us to the end of news. That means it's time for our reader mail section. I did see one other thing I wanted to bring up about No Man's Sky quick though. Yeah,
but,
go ahead.
This is not a happy story, but it's PC Master Race, so so there was articles popping right after No Man's Sky about how many concurrent players and how many people had bought it. It was a great thing, but within the first 24 hours of returning it, the purchase rate dropped by 89%.
And
so
if you look at
89% of people that bought it returned it.
And if you look at the concurrent player statistics, it goes like it's a hump,
it's a drop off,
and then it just dies down there. So it's
from
not
212,000 at its high to 22,000 currently,
which is horrific compared to where it started at. Dave, you said you had unique news for tonight.
That was the whole Toe Jam and Earl thing. I didn't expect you to follow that one.
Why would you not? Okay, I'm just not going to talk to you. Why would I not?
I have news.
Go for it.
I don't know. I didn't think you were on the Kickstarter.
It's a game I don't even really care about. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, Mark.
What's that?
The new Dark Souls 3. It's the new Dark Souls 3 DLC.
You know, I don't generally talk about DLC launches in the news stuff, but please tell us, what is it all about?
I don't know. I just saw that there was DLC.
Yes, it's like the Kingdom of Amaterasu.
It makes your rolling faster, so you can
No.
roll,
Dark Souls does not.
roll.
Dark Souls does not do DLC to win, so no, that is not the case.
It makes your roll slower then.
I
So
guess we should say expansion pack
Yes.
as opposed to DLC.
Yes. That's going to bring us to reader mail then, unless anybody else has a final thing here. Dark Gaming asks, Pokemon games, who's better, Pikachu or Raichu? And this is for the games, not
Pikachu.
the animated series.
Oh.
the evolved stats are always better.
No, not always. Raichu is a lot slower. He loses a couple of his speed attacks and loses one main attack. What was it? No. Like if you evolve him too early, then you lose like one of the coolest speed attacks that he does.
Yes.
Yeah, but that wasn't, the question wasn't if you evolve them too early, which one's better.
So even if you, okay, let's say you had a Raichu with the same attacks as a Pikachu, Pikachu would still beat him from speed alone. He would always be attacking first because he's, yeah, no, Pikachu, duh. Yeah, no, now I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Does anyone have a differing opinion, Matt?
I honestly have never actually played a regular Pokemon game, so I really can't speak to this.
Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how just going first, if the other one's that much stronger, it's going to absorb the hit and then just smack you with a sledgehammer afterward. That's
Not
how the
really.
game works.
So you're
not
saying
that
no
strong.
too.
All right.
Yeah, and
You really have to trust me. I'm not a finesse player in the game, and that's how I roll.
Hit first, hit hard. What was that movie?
I'm going
I
to go
just
with...
saw that movie. What was it?
This is Karate Kid.
No, well, yes, but that movie just, it was Turbo Kid. Turbo Kid, strike hard, strike fast. I can't remember what the third one was.
I'm also going to choose...
No mercy, sir.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Not because I think his stats are better, but I like him better. So, there's that. He just asked which one we think is better. Who's better? In my mind is Pikachu. He's the mascot. Kate, do you have a bone in this fight?
Pikachu's cuter.
There you go. Matt?
Now, if we're going
What
to
about
mix, I like
a Lola
Raichu's
version?
little ear tufts.
All right.
I was like, what about a Lola version Raichu versus Pikachu? Whoa.
Hoodie, continuing the Pokemon Inquisition in Reader Mail this week. Hoodie Syndrome asks, what is your favorite shiny Pokemon? Mine is Gorgeist, whatever his name is. I can't ever pronounce it.
Oh, the pumpkin one? The plant ghost?
Yes. That looks really scary. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Favorite shiny.
And no,
Favorite
Firefly is
shiny.
not an answer, Matt. I heard you thinking it down there.
That's
I
awesome.
was thinking pretty loudly, so, I choose you, River Chew.
While Turo's brain is melting as he tries to make this decision, what about you, Matt?
Shiny Charizard.
Okay.
Got to go with the classic.
Dave?
The only one, I have had the worst luck in those games with finding shinies.
No, it's not the ones you
The only
capture.
one,
It's which one is your favorite.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen any others.
All right, then what's the one you
See, I
have?
don't like this question. The only one I've seen is that stupid red Gyarados.
All right. Kate, do you have a favorite shiny Pokemon?
Pass. I don't even know what a shiny Pokemon is.
It's a shiny
palette
Pokemon.
swap.
Yeah, it's a shiny Pokemon. That's it. Master Cobras asked, do you prefer monitors or laptops?
For what?
Two are not mutually exclusive.
I believe the intention of the question is, if you're going to work on something,
Desktop or laptop.
Yeah, basic. Well, monitor, because you can hook up a monitor to a laptop.
Right, to
Do
a
you
laptop,
prefer the
yeah,
monitor or the laptop screen?
Okay, I'm going to go with a huge, it depends.
Huh?
Some things I need 3 screens for, so...
See, I'm going to break the rules because I'm just going to say I use my TV as my monitor, so TV was not part of that equation, but whether it's a laptop or a desktop, I use my TV because I prefer that over a monitor or a built-in laptop screen. Turo, monitor or laptop? Did I ever ask you what your shiny Pokemon was?
No.
What was your shiny Pokemon?
I don't know. There's so many cool ones. Like, I was going to say Shiny Scyther because I really like Scyther, but his palette change was dumb. And then I was going to say... I was going to say Steelix, but that one's dumb too, even though I kind of like it. And I was going to say Dialga, but it's very, very subtle. And then, Jesus Christ. No, because he just looks like a, like a Charizard, a Mega X Charizard color. And it's like
Before the Megas existed.
Your face is a Mega X Charizard. Come on, pick one.
Thank you.
Dave, answer the question.
Yeah, Dave, answer the other question while he's still melting.
You know what? I'm just going to go with the first actual shiny Pokemon that I caught, and that was an Eevee. So let's just go with Eevee, even though it's just a faded out Eevee.
Okay, so then monitor or laptop? Which do you prefer?
I'm going to say laptop. You can take it anywhere, honestly.
Dave?
I haven't had a monitor in my house since 1997. I've been using laptop since, like 96 or 97.
Kate, monitor or laptop?
Laptop.
And Matt, survey says?
If I only need a single screen, laptop screen.
Okay. And then, of course, I'm TV because I can't be bound by your question. Tomboy1 asks, hey, does anyone know of any game systems other than the Xbox that will play DVDs? I can answer for the group. All of them play DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the Wii U does?
Even the Wii U.
Yeah, Wii U plays
The
DVDs.
Wii does.
I didn't know that.
Pretty sure
I didn't know that.
does.
I know the Wii didn't.
No, Wii U plays DVDs. Yeah.
Okay, I just know the
It
Wii
does
didn't.
not play. It does not play Blu-rays, but it does play DVDs.
Right.
MLG Gamer asked, what happened to LJN? I like this because this is a really throwback question. Do you guys remember LJN even?
No.
They were
Is that a president?
No, that's LBJ. But
I know.
LJN was they were a toy manufacturer and video game maker. They had the rainbow with their LGN initials as their logo.
Oh, that LGN.
Yeah, that LJN.
So we're talking about they're the people that made that,
Yes.
what was that interactive show?
Yes.
Finally.
They are they're considered by many people to be the worst video game publisher of all time, or developer of all time, because they made horrible licensed games.
It was something Powers. It was interactive with your TV.
Yes. Well,
Captain Power?
Are you thinking
Captain Power, yeah, that's it.
the gun game one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that game alone, so they made basically this gun game, and it was super defective, and they lost tens of millions of dollars. It was somewhere like $35 million in returns on that. And after that, they were quickly sold to Acclaim, and Acclaim rolled them in and killed their toy line because they had been making WWE toys. They made the first WWE toys back in the 80s, the action figures and stuff. And then they killed all the toy lines and made them just start cranking out all these shovelware titles that were horrible. And eventually Acclaim just folded them in. And their last imprint game came 5 years after the studio had been 100% folded in. And to this day, no one knows why Acclaim chose to use the LJN imprint on the box art. But it was for a Dreamcast game. That's how long they were making it. It was called 1937 Speed. The Spirit of Speed 1937, I think is what it was. And it was like rated the worst driving game that came out that year. And it was horrible, just like every other LJN game. But this is the interesting thing about LJN. So anyways, they're dead because Acclaim is dead. There is no LJN. There is no Acclaim. They're all dead. Everyone's dead. But what you may not know, which is interesting, is the guy that started LJN actually left that final year when Acclaim rolled it in and started his own company called THQ.
What?
And after about a year...
That would explain THQ's early crap.
Well, early, yeah, because he was only there for about a year and a half.
THQ was horrible when they started.
Yep. And he left THQ...
The fact that that company exists now the way it is amazing.
Well, it doesn't. THQ doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind.
I mean, Nordic
I forgot.
bought the stuff and renamed themselves THQ, but yeah, THQ proper doesn't exist. So that guy only stayed for like a year and a half at THQ, and then he actually went and made a new studio called Jack's Pacific.
Jack's Pacific made video games?
Yeah.
I don't even remember them. I only remember them doing wrestling action figures.
Nope. They did video games too. I'm almost positive. Jack's Pacific.
Things I really didn't know. LJN did the Thundercats toy line, which was actually super awesome.
Yeah. I think they did.
Oh yeah, they had good toy lines.
Yeah, they had great toy lines. It was just that they lost so much money on their video games that they eventually, got bought out to the point that
and the gun thing you were thinking of was Photon. I knew what it was, but yeah, that was the laser tag ripoff.
No, that's not what I was thinking of.
No, that's not what you were thinking of. You were thinking of Captain Power, which is not them according to this list.
Oh.
Captain Power and the Soldiers of Tomorrow or Soldiers of the Future or something like that.
Yeah, who did that? Was that Worlds of Wonder or something?
Could be. I don't know.
I swear they made video games too.
They do the plug-in. Jax does the plug-and-play video games.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of TV games. Yeah, okay. So
that's the games that they do.
But they also have their toy lines, which are very popular with WWE, etc. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Hooray! Thanks for the questions.
No, they were Mattel. The Captain Power was Mattel.
Yeah, I just found that.
Fact checking.
That's all I have on mailbag this week. So thanks everybody for writing in. If you would like to write in with questions of your own, you have a plethora of ways to do it. You can firstly leave a comment on the Facebook feed if you're on Facebook Live watching us. If you are on Twitch, leave a comment on the stream and we will answer the question there. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment below. We'll answer the questions on next week's show. And then if you'd like to write in, you can contact us at gamersledge@gmail.com, or you can go onto the Video Games Amino application, and that's where we actually pull most of our questions from. So thanks everybody for participating. That's going to bring us to final thoughts for the week. Kate, final thoughts.
I can't wait to go to sleep.
Well, we'll make your wish come true sooner rather than later. How about that? Dave, final thoughts.
I just saw a disgusting link. Apparently, Burger King is making a burrito called the Whopperito.
Burrito.
Yeah, that is insanely disgusting looking. I would say avoid if you can even find a Burger King. We all know Mark loves Burger King.
Actually, I kind of do actually like Burger King, but I can't eat them. And they're not on my diet. So.
No,
Yeah.
I remember that Burger King is that place you trashed on. Was it Yelp or
Well,
something?
no, I did get a Burger King closed down. That is correct. But no, yeah. Turo, final thoughts.
It'll be the last time you see these guys. That's it.
He's gonna kill us all?
Who
No,
are you pointing to?
These guys.
You're pointing
No,
to
the blinds.
Oh,
The blinds. Because that's all that's in the background right here is blinds. I don't got anything cooler. That's it. Also, go watch Kubo and, Don't Breathe tomorrow. Yeah. Boom.
Don't Breathe
What?
tomorrow?
Yeah. The creators of Evil Dead.
Oh, go
Made a
watch
movie called
Don't
Don't Breathe.
Breathe. Go watch Don't Breathe.
Yeah,
Oh.
go watch Kubo.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
I thought you were telling
you're
us
like-
about
I'm
Don't
like-
Breathe.
I'm
Tomorrow.
like, the views expressed by
Go watch
Turo do not
Kubo
reflect
and the
those
Two Swords.
of Gamersledge
And
podcast.
also go watch Don't Breathe. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It was great because on my screen you're like pointing to everybody at the top
Yeah,
and saying like
"Don't
you're gonna
breathe,"
never
yeah.
see these guys
Yeah.
again.
And then you're like, don't
I'm
breathe.
like, okay.
What are you
Oh, wait, I'm in the
talking
center.
about?
Oh,
Oh,
It'll
my
be the
God.
last time you see these guys.
Matt, final
Oh,
thoughts.
I'm not in the middle.
Matt, final thoughts.
Yeah, that's about it. I think all the thoughts.
Why
have
do I
left my
always
head.
break everything?
That's a good question. We should cover that one week.
That'd be
I don't
cool.
know. Yep. Nope. I got nothing.
Cool.
Play more games.
All right, then.
Ron Burgundy.
For my final thought. My final thought this week is actually a funny story that happened to me this last week. We went out, and then we came back and we let our dog out. Marvel, he's been on the podcast. He is super hyperactive. He loves running around and chewing on things. Anyways, I was playing a game shortly after we got back, and I heard the dog chewing on something, and it didn't sound like he's got an antler that he chews on. And it sounded much more
Be careful with those.
Yeah, no, he's fine with that. But it was much more hollow sounding. I'm like, oh, God, what's he got? And all I see is Deadpool hanging out of his mouth. And he had gnawed Deadpool's face off and half of his head. And so this is like a $60 figure. So I'm obviously super upset with the dog. But I also have to laugh because it looks kind of like Deadpool would actually look if you took his mask off. So I'm not sure if I'm going to throw away the figure or actually keep it with Pizza Face Deadpool. So that's what I got. For housekeeping, of course, if you do like the show, please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Like us on Twitch if you're watching there as well. Follow us. If you're on Twitter, feel free to let us know. Give us a shout out. We'll follow you back. Twitter is twitter.com/gamersledge, facebook.com/gamersledge, pinterest.com/gamersledge, and of course, Tumblr, StumbleUpon, and every other thing we are on, and the main website, as you can see right below me here, is gamersledge.com. With that, we'll end the show as we do every single week with a fantastic witticism. How do snails fight?
I'm just gonna say I
Slowly.
can't wait to tackle you to stop you from doing this
It won't
in
stop.
real
It won't stop.
life.
It won't stop. How do snails fight?
Slowly.
They slug
Beating
it
the
out.
shell out of each other. Mine was better. Beating
Until
the
next
shell
week.
out of each other.
Game on.
Come on.